welcome to the Aging Boomers. I'm your host, Frank Sampson, and on this show we discuss so many of the issues facing boomers, their parents, and what we know, of course, is a aging population. And I just, first of all, I just want to thank everybody for all their support. So many of you have gone to iTunes, which if you haven't, please do go there. You could download or subscribe. Just subscribe, and you'll get updated on the new shows that come up, and give us your rating and all sorts of great information. And we've gotten a lot of good reviews, and I want to thank you. You also could go to on your iPhone or Android phone. Just go to your apps, type in Aging Boomers, and you get a free download of the Aging Boomers podcast. So a lot of different ways to get information. You could also go to our website at agingboomers.com. So thank you again for all your support. We got a great show, as we always do. And today's show is sponsored by eldercareresourcesusa.com, information for an aging world. You can enjoy great articles, watch videos, download helpful guides, learn from nationally recognized experts, and connect with key local providers. So visit eldercareresourcesusa.com. And if you happen to be on the West Coast, we've got the Elder Care Resources. We have the local sites, ecrbayarea.com, ecrsacramento.com, and ecrlosangeles.com, where you could get, again, some great information, local providers, and our podcasts are on there as well. So I'm very excited. Our guest today is Amy. Amy, I didn't even ask you how to pronounce your last name. Andonian, is that correct?
You nailed it, yes.
Hey, look at that. Not bad. So, Amy, Chicago girl, I love Chicago, serves as the Vice President of Home Care and Support Services for the Institute on Aging. In this role, she provides leadership for Institute on Aging's fee-for-service home care, care management, fiduciary, and social day services here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Amy has extensive knowledge and expertise in the areas of adult daycare, home care, family caregiving, dementia care, nonprofit program development and management, and social enterprise. Amy is an active member of the Aging Services Collaborative of Santa Clara County, serving as the co-chair of the ASC's caregiver support team as well as program team. Amy, welcome to the Aging Boomers.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you. I know you had a little bit of break, so we're getting you right into it, right?
Definitely.
So maybe let's just start out. So I know you're with the Institute on Aging. Maybe just tell us a little bit about that organization, its mission, and kind of what the IOA is all about.
Sure, definitely. So I've been with the Institute on Aging for 2 years, and the Institute on Aging is a nonprofit organization that provides a very comprehensive array of healthcare, social care, and home care support services for older adults as well as their families in the San Francisco Bay Area. Our mission is to enhance the quality of life for adults as they age, and we do this by enabling them to maintain their health, well-being, independence, and maximize their participation in the community.
That's great. So what are some, and there's a number of services I know that the IOA provides. So can you get into those services for our listeners?
Sure, definitely. There are a lot. It can be kind of overwhelming when folks come to our website because we have so many different services, but we kind of group them in 3 different divisions. The first division is our Health Services Division, and that includes primarily our 2 PACE programs. And the PACE model it stands for Program for All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly, and it's a very innovative model, and it's truly all-inclusive healthcare. So it's a one-stop shop for lower-income seniors, and they're able to come to our centers here at our building in San Francisco. There's 2 of them that we recently combined into a super center, And they can receive anything from transportation to health care from their primary physician. There's occupation therapy, there's nutrition, podiatry, dentistry, everything that that person would need to be able to stay living in their home, they can receive through our two PACE programs here in San Francisco. And the PACE program is actually owned by Unlock, which is another nonprofit provider, but they contract with the Institute on Aging to provide our two PACE programs here.
Yeah, the PACE program is really local to the Bay Area, correct? I mean, it's a great program, though.
It's a fantastic program. It's truly a hidden gem in the community, and it's really critical for some older adults who are kind of, quote, nursing home eligible, but really want to stay in their homes, but kind of need comprehensive health services and able to do that. And this program really gives them everything they need, through one center, and also the services at home that they need so that they can continue living in the community. So great program. And we currently serve about 276 older adults in San Francisco through these two programs.
That's great. So
yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about kind of the area that you're involved with.
Sure. So in addition to the Health Services Division, there is my division, which is the Home Care and Support Services Division. And my division is unique. All of the programs and services under my division are fee-for-service. So we charge fees for the services, and those services include private duty home care, care management services, medication management, and fiduciary or money management services. So we kind of operate more as the for-profit arm of the nonprofit. So while we charge for our services, all the revenue that we generate goes back into supporting the programs and services that serve low-income seniors. So we, again, the largest service within my division is private duty home care. We serve currently about 120 clients across the Bay Area. And then the other services are truly supportive services that, can also enable older adults to age in place in their homes. And we serve seniors all the way up in Marin and then all the way down to San Jose and Santa Clara County.
So how are those home care services different from, let's say, a in-home care, non-medical in-home care type of organization? There's a lot of them out there. Are the services pretty similar?
They're very similar. I think our differences are that, we truly do have more of a mission-focused drive to what we do, and the focus is truly on quality and providing the best possible care that we can to families and seniors in the community. All of our home care cases are overseen by nurses, so before care can even start, we get a nurse out there into the home to do a free, full assessment to really determine what the needs of that senior are before we start to determine what the care plan is going to look like. And then our team is truly interdisciplinary. We have social workers, we have the nurse, we have administrative staff, and everybody works together to really provide wraparound care to the seniors in their homes. So we're very similar in some regards, but I like to think that we kind of add some additional value just through our mission and our laser focus on quality care.
The in-home care, as we all know, I mean, it could get pretty expensive. Does your organization, do you have programs for those that need in-home care, don't have the money for it? I mean, do you have programs for them, or is that kind of a whole different arm and you need to charge whatever it is you charge?
That is a great question. We do. One of the services I mentioned that's also part of my division is care management. And a lot of times before we even start care, we'll want a care manager to go out there and help them come up with a family plan or a care plan for the long-term needs of their older loved one. And a lot of times we can help them assess, what services are needed now, what's needed down, maybe 3 or 5 years down the road, maybe 10 years into the future, and then to look at the cost attached to that and to come up with a care plan that is truly cost-effective and affordable and we'll really go the mile for them. And then we can start to talk about what services we can provide, or if we can't provide them, what other services are in the community that they can benefit from. So a lot of times, through kind of developing this care plan that is kind of cost effective, we can truly serve them for a longer period of time. There have been some cases where we've had some clients run out of money, and we've been able to kind of support them a little longer. But there's a wealth of other services within Institute on Aging that are, serving a lower income clientele of seniors. So a lot of times we're able to refer them internally, whether it's to the PACE program where they can then get free home care versus having to pay out of pocket for it. And then we're truly a hub for information and referrals to not just services within Institute on Aging, but all the other services that are out there in the community that can be accessed as well. So we do a lot of referrals out into the community too.
That's great. Well, I know you have a background in adult daycare, and you have a program at IOA on adult daycare. So talk to us a little bit about that. Help our listeners, and especially family caregivers, explain what adult daycare is and how it could be beneficial for seniors to attend.
Yeah, definitely. So adult daycare is very near and dear to my heart. It's kind of how I got my start in the field of aging. And when I was at Stanford and studying gerontology and realizing I wanted to go into this career, I started doing some volunteer work in the community, visiting both seniors in their homes as well as seniors in nursing homes, the VA setting, and was just really frustrated and sad about how many seniors were just stuck in their homes and didn't have the opportunity to kind of get out there and stay connected to the community. And it seemed to be particularly worse, when you were experiencing memory loss or any form of dementia, such as Alzheimer's. And those were truly the most isolated and often depressed seniors that I encountered. And I just thought there has to be another way. And at some point, kind of early in my career, I encountered an adult day program through Catholic Charities of Santa Clara County, and just fell in love with the model. And an adult daycare center is designed to provide care and companionship for seniors who need assistance or protective supervision during the daytime. And a lot of times these older adults might include seniors who are either in their early or later stages of memory loss, but as well as those who are also experiencing increasing physical immobility limitations. And these adult daycare centers are essentially designed to provide socialization to these older adults so that they can get out of their homes, meet with other seniors, engage in physical activity, recreational activities, and kind of just stay engaged. But at the same time, what I came to learn is that these centers are truly equally important for the family caregivers who are taking care of these older loved ones. And what these adult day centers are designed to do is to provide respite, which means a break, or this regular period of relief to these family members and caregivers. And it gives them the freedom to go to work, to take care of personal business, or even just relax and take a break while knowing that their older loved one is safe and well cared for. So I kind of got my start initially managing and starting an adult day program in Santa Clara County, and then have just continued to oversee day programs throughout my career. And I love the model. It's kind of a community secret. A lot of times caregivers find these centers too late and wish they had found them much, much sooner. And what's been found is that these day centers, while they can't stop the dementia from proceeding, it can oftentimes slow it down. And by kind of keeping these seniors active and involved, it gives them a reason to get up every day and go to the center and still be engaged. And it can really help to delay the dementia process for a lot of seniors, while at the same time making sure that the caregiver continues to get the break and the support that they need.
Right.
So,
both are so important.
Critical.
It's proven. There's all sorts of statistics out there that if seniors with or without dementia, just sits around at home, in front of the TV and isn't active, that's not healthy. It's not healthy for those with dementia, like you said. Unfortunately, there's no cure to that disease, but there is proof that it's certainly a better quality of life, getting involved with different activities and things like that. And like you said, more importantly, the respite. Again, there's also statistics out there. I don't have them in front of me, but I think it's important, maybe scary, but important for caregivers to know, family caregivers, that many times they end up becoming very, very ill themselves due to the stress of caregiving. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's frightening. And they don't often even realize that it's happening because they just continue to put their head down and keep working and keep taking care of their own families and their older loved one at the same time, and it can have just some really long-term negative health effects, through that process.
So this program is really twofold. It's as much for them as it is for their loved one, correct?
It is, yeah. And when I started, I thought it was more about the senior, and I just thought it was great. Like, seniors can get out of their homes and socialize, but the more I became involved in the programs and the more I came to understand them, I think the true client, the true person being served is really the family caregiver. And it allows them to keep their older loved one at home for a much longer period of time, and that can delay institutionalization for the senior, and the emotional and the quality of life benefits to that, as well as the financial benefits, are just huge for families.
Yeah. So I'm sure you deal with this each and every day, but where you have you talk to a family caregiver about bringing mom or dad over there and all the benefits, and they say, well, I ask them, I want to do it, I see the benefit, they just don't want to go. So what do you respond to those with that objection?
It is very, very, very common, and my advice is to give it time. Any change in routine can be incredibly difficult for an older adult, especially if they're experiencing memory loss and increased confusion. So chances are really good that if you find an adult day program and you enroll your older loved one, that they're going to show some type of resistance when you go to actually drop them off the first couple days or the first couple weeks. And, a lot of times this leaves the caregiver feeling anxious and guilty and, questioning whether this is the right fit for their older loved one. And, there can be a lot of emotions that come to the surface. But, my advice is, in my experience, kind of speaks to this, is that usually over the first couple weeks and the first month or so, the adult day program will gradually become part of your older loved one's new routine, and they will actually come to expect it and often look forward to it. And I see so many families that, the first couple of days, they're like, I can't do this, he won't get out of bed, he's dragging his feet, and he just won't come. And a month or so later, it's like he's out of bed, he's like sitting downstairs, like waiting, looking at his watch, saying, we're going to be late, we need to go now. And, once it becomes part of the routine, it's no longer scary, it's something they can actually look forward to and becomes part of their day.
Right.
I also counsel people to avoid calling it daycare.
I was just going to say that. I think that's great what you said. Yeah,
and there's such a stigma to that. You think of daycare and you think of preschool for your kids or daycare for your kids.
Right.
And a lot of times we just refer to it as the club or school. And if you look on our website, we call it adult day clubs. We don't call it daycare. So that really helps. And if somebody's really resistant and maybe still a little higher functioning and will notice that the other people in the program have kind of more advanced dementia, a lot of times you can kind of ease them into it by saying, well, you're just going to come and help us volunteer and help the other seniors. And that kind of empowers them and makes them feel like, they can give back in a way, and then the program's there for them as their own dementia begins to worsen over the years.
I when I heard you say adult day program, that I was going to ask you that you didn't use the word care, and the reality is a lot of the people don't need care. They may need just supervision and direction, not necessarily care. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah, and I should emphasize too that there's two types of adult daycare. There's a medical model, which truly does provide a lot more care, for the older adult. But the programs that I've typically overseen are social daycare programs, and it's more geared for folks who are experiencing memory loss. And the focus truly is on the social activities, the meals, the recreation, and very minimal kind of health-related services. They might do blood pressure checks every now and then, but really it's more about the socialization and kind of maximizing what that individual can still do and still contribute in a group setting.
So, a couple questions. If someone is interested in this, a family caregiver, and they're in California or especially the Bay Area, they could certainly contact the organization. But if they're in another area of the country, what's the best way you feel that they could find out if these clubs or programs exist in their area?
Definitely. So every county has what's called the AAA, which is the Area Agency on Aging.
Right.
And it's good to reach out to that organization. And sometimes it's the county, sometimes it's a nonprofit that is contracted through the county. But to reach out to the AAA, and they are truly the hub for information and referrals, and to ask them where the local day programs are. In California, so all day programs are licensed, usually by the Department of Social Services, at least in California. And if you go to the Department of Social Services website, under the Community Care Licensing Division section of the website, they will give you a list of all the adult day programs that are licensed, and then you can kind of sort it by region and location as well.
Great to know. So now they found an adult day program, or even a couple of them in the area where they live. They come to visit. What should they be looking for? What type of questions should they be asking? What's your thoughts there?
Yeah, the most important thing is to make sure that you feel comfortable when you arrive at that center. So you want to make sure it's clean and tidy and safe, that there's no kind of dangerous rugs or cords lying around, obviously. Talk to the staff and talk to other families that use the centers to determine if, the facilities and the programs have met their needs. Day programs can vary in size. Some programs are as small as, 10 to 15 people, and some are as large as 100 people. So depending on your older loved one, if they kind of get more agitated in a big group setting, then maybe a smaller program is more appropriate versus one of the larger centers. So it's all about comfort and making sure that you feel like your loved one is going to be well taken care of and will be safe in that environment. And, questions to ask would be, around staffing. How long have your staff been there? What are their qualifications? What is the turnover? And truly good staffing makes a good day program. So if you meet these employees and these staff members and you feel like you can connect with them on a personal level and they feel, caring and warm and knowledgeable about what they're doing, then that's usually a good sign that there's a good day program in operation. That's
a great suggestion. So the costs, there are costs to many of them, and I'm sure that could vary around the country. But can you give our listeners kind of just an idea of what to expect?
Yeah. So again, depending on the type of day program, if it's a medical program, that is usually covered by Medicare or Medi-Cal in California. If it's a social day program, however, that is not typically covered by insurance or Medicare. So that would be out of pocket, but typically the cost for a social day program, let's say a 6-hour program, would be anywhere from $25 a day to maybe around $100 a day, depending on the level of services offered. And a lot of times, a lot of these programs are nonprofit, so they might do like a sliding scale of fees or kind of subsidize for folks who are lower income. But in general, somewhere around $50 to $60 a day, I think, is average. And when you do the math and you divide that by the 6 hours, it works out to somewhere close around $8 to $10 per hour. So it can definitely be a good bargain for families.
It's certainly a lot less expensive than having a caregiver coming to the home all day.
Absolutely, that's closer to around like $24, $25 an hour.
Right,
so yeah,
right. Well, that's great. So, Amy, how can people learn more about IOA, or if they wanted to connect with you or your organization, how would they go about doing that?
Definitely. Our website is www.ioaging.org. And there's a wealth of information on there and kind of more information about our services and programs. If you want to speak to a live person, we have what's called our Connect Center. And it's a fabulous team of social workers and professionals who are there as a community resource to help you find the answers that you need to your questions. And the Connect team can be reached at area code 415-750-4111, and they're available not just to give you information about IOA's programs and services, but they truly know just a wealth of information about what's out there in the community as well, and can refer you out to appropriate programs and organizations in the community as well.
Great. Well, Amy Andonian from the Institute on Aging here in the Bay Area. So thank you so much. What a wealth of information. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on the show, and hopefully we'll have you back in the future. Every day something's new in this industry. So
definitely,
we'd love to have you back. Thank you so much, and thank you all for all your support and listening. Please share with your friends, relatives to listen to the show. Again, have it on twice a week, each Monday and Friday. But again, if you just download or subscribe on iTunes, you'll just be updated on a regular basis. So again, thank you so much for joining us. Be safe out there, and we'll talk to you all soon.